Alright guys, so we are going to do some tumbling or drumming of fur this evening. This is something that I haven't spent much time doing before, so it's all new to me. I'm just going to try it out, but it's the end of the trapping season. I have spent quite a lot of time skinning fur here in the fur shed and getting everything, putting all the work in, you know, getting it all skinned, stretched, fleshed, stretched and dried, put up, and ready to go to auction, which is probably where most of these furs are going to go. A few of them might go to some private buyers, a few might go to a tannery. But for the ones that are going to auction, I really wanted to try this out. So this is a homemade it's a sort of a semi-professional made fur tumbler. And the idea is when we got all this fur, and these animals are out in the woods all over the place, and they're getting stuff in the fur. They're getting all kinds of, you know, you got pitch, you got needles, you got who knows, all kinds of different things, dirt, and then when you're handling the fur, it's the same way. You can get stuff on it. You get a lot of grease on it when you're fleshing and scraping and all that. And so the pelts really kind of have some imperfections, which by the time they get to the end buyer, when someone buys them from the auction and sends them and gets them tanned and gets them back, they're all going to look clean. But in between that process, they're going to go to the auction house, and a grader is going to look at all these pelts on a table, and he's just going to grab one, take a quick look, pass it into this pile or that pile or that pile, and the pile that goes in is going to determine what I get for final value for that pelt. And so I guess the idea that I'm kind of going off of is if I can remove any of the imperfections that are pretty obvious here, it's going to give the grader a better chance to have a good look at the fur. If there's a matted down section of fur and the grader takes a quick look at it, they don't know if that's going to clean up and look nice and all the hair is there, or if there's a bare patch there and it's missing fur and whatever. So the grader might just look at that and say, okay, downgrade that in the lower pile. So if we can get rid of some of those imperfections, make the fur look a little cleaner, hopefully it'll get a better grade. I don't know. Again, this is kind of all new to me. So a friend of mine gave me this, and this is a really nice little machine. So it's custom made. It's made by Stalker Fabrications. I think that guy's Tom Stalker, maybe is his name. He's somewhere in New York, I believe. And stalkerfabrications.com. And this is just your standard plastic drum, like a chemical drum, or you see these all the time. And it's been cut open. There's a hinge lid on it. There's a nice wooden frame here, and a couple of roller bearings, and that allows this thing to roll. And on the other side, I'll show you, there is a motor that causes this thing to spin. So, here you see some screws here. There are actually pieces of wood that are little baffles inside of this. I'll show you in just a minute. So there is the opening. But look over here, we've got a motor that plugs in with a standard 120 volt. It's attached to a shaft here on a bearing. We got a on-off switch. And then inside here is where we put our medium and we put our furs. And you can see that wooden baffle there. And there are two others. There's one there and one on this inside. And yeah, so basically it's pretty simple. You put your medium and your furs in this drum. And your medium, the medium that I'm using, just because the guy that gave it to me gave me some of this, and he told me this is what he's always used. It's a premium horse bedding, 100% corn cob bedding. So it's basically just pelletized corn cobs. It's very much like wood pellets almost, and it's all broken up. There's pellets and there's little chunks, and that's gonna roll around and bang around and fall. It's gonna get picked up in those baffles and fall down and tumble on top of the fur, and hopefully it's just gonna work its way into the fur, just clean out any of the grease, the oil, the imperfections, the dirt and whatever, and kind of get it off of the fur. So that's kind of the idea. The other thing that I'm gonna add, just because I don't really know much about this, but I see a couple guys on YouTube that are doing this, and they also add a little bit of hot water, which I'm gonna put in, and a little bit of laundry detergent. Not enough to get the pelt wet, but enough to kind of get incorporated into this medium and help shine up and clean the pelts. So let's give it a shot and see how it goes. I'm just gonna do maybe 2 or 3 Fisher pelts at a time, just until I figure out if it's gonna work or not. So I don't know how much of this to put in. Maybe a little more. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the water and the detergent in and spin this around and just make sure it's like the right consistency so it's not too wet before I start putting the pelts in. I got to plug this sucker in. Alright. Water. Just gonna go with like half a cat full for starters. So that, I mean, I'm thinking that grit is gonna have like, it's just as if it has that degreaser on it, as it's hitting up against the hair, the pelts, it's hopefully going to degrease them. That thing just starts spinning. There we go. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so it's not wet, it's just damp, kind of damp. You can smell the laundry detergent. I think I'm going to give this a shot. So let's take a couple of these Fisher pelts. So you see this is I don't know, I think it's a pretty nice pelt. It's got a bunch of grease and it's kind of greased up on the back end here, and fur's kind of matted in places. Yeah, overall though, I think it's pretty good, but let's see if it gets shined up, maybe looks a little bit better. Maybe we'll throw one more in. I'd like to have one that looks really bad. See if it... Oh yeah, look at this thing. Okay, so this will really be a test. This thing's got a bunch of matted down. It got wet here, and there's just a... Look at this underneath. There's a big matted down section. It's all clumped up together. There's some like pieces of wood and... Oh yeah, that's just gross. It's just a big mess. So that's something I could probably brush out, but I don't know if I'd do more damage than good by brushing out. So let's throw that in and see if that gets cleaned up any. I think I'll go, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes on this and see what happens, see what it looks like. let's take a look. Okay, as you can see, this thing is heavily covered in the medium. This is the one that had the really nasty stuff, and it feels like that's actually still matted down, so that hasn't done much there. But I'm going to shake this stuff off. I'm going to go shake it off out the door here, just so I can actually be able to breathe. Shake the medium stuff off, and I'm going to shoot a little bit of pressure with an air gun just to get this stuff kind of cleaned off of it, and then see what the rest of this looks like. Look at all that dust. It sure smells good. Let's try to get this. Okay, so this looks really sweet. I mean, look at all of how clean that fur looks coming out of here, but this back end, this is really not that cleaned up. So I'm gonna try to take a brush to it, see if I can help. I don't know. I feel like the tumbling did help a little bit, but it didn't really solve the problem. It looks pretty good though. I mean, the rest of it. So that's really interesting, guys. I don't know if that would have come out that easily before tumbling. Maybe it would have, but that just seems like those clumps kind of came apart really easily, and everything's kind of fluffed up and cleaner. We still get a couple of tufts of fur here that I'm not super excited about, but I think what I'm going to do is probably put this thing back in. Yeah, look at that. It's, I don't know what that is. Clump of something. But I think I'm going to put this one back in for another round with the next pelt or two that I tumble, just to get it, see if we can get it cleaned up even a little bit more. But boy, it smells good. It looks a little shinier. Yeah. Let's take a look at this one. This one was actually not too bad to begin with. It was pretty good. Oh, that looks beautiful. That looks beautiful. Look at that. Look how shiny that tail is. Yes, sir. I mean, it started off looking pretty nice too, so. I don't know as this thing is like a miracle worker, but I mean, it's cleaning things up nicely. Yeah, that's pretty. That is really pretty. So, I think I'm gonna call that one good. May wash it off, air it off a little bit more, but that's gonna be in the good pile. I'm gonna keep kind of working my way through these and try to get all these fishers done, I guess.
right, so this, I believe, is that fisher we had, the all matted up, crumpled up hair problems there on the backside, and it looks like that. You can kind of tell there's a little tiny bit of it left on the inside here, but that's pretty well worked its way out with the second drumming. So maybe that just, you know, sometimes that stuff just requires some brushing, extra brushing, and extra drumming, I guess. You can see there's a little bit left there. I should be able to get out. But yeah, I'm thinking this is definitely an improvement. Definitely an improvement, big improvement. So one of the things that I wanted to show you guys is this, how the back sides of these get all greasy, and from when you're skinning them. Some of these fishers are really fatty and oily, and so that is just, you know, if that goes to the auction house like that, I don't know that it will be well received. This one's kind of the same way. So I'm gonna, like, say these two, I think I'm gonna put one of them in, run it through for a while, and then set it back beside this one and see how much of a difference it makes. I don't know if you guys can see this, but we have a new puppy on the Trapping Today YouTube channel. This dog, his name is Fisher. First dog we've had in a long time, and he's got the black hair and he's got the white patch on his chest, just like a few of the fishers that I catch right over here. Actually, you can see some of the white patches there. So anyway, yeah, this is Fisher, and you may see him on the trap line in the future. So let's see if we had any. Oh, what do we want to do? I had one in here that was really nasty on the back end. It was all greased up. It wasn't this one, I don't think. Just wanted to see how well it had cleaned up. I think it was this one. One of these two. Yeah, sure, you're okay. Okay, boy, they smell good. So I still gotta clean some more stuff out of them, some more of the grit and stuff out of them, just to give them that take on kind of a lighter color there. But I think by the time you wash it out, they're back to looking like a normal fisher. But anyway, you could see on the hair all the grease and stuff, and all the kind of tufted pieces of hair that's all kind of greased together in little balls. You see that's gone there, and it's gone there. So once we brush a little bit and blow that rest of that grit out, I think they're gonna look pretty awesome. So yeah, looking pretty good. I'm gonna just kind of keep going here and do the rest of these fishers, and then maybe move on to the Marten. I'll finish up the fishers and give you a chance to take a look at them. These are the last of the Fisher pelts. Look at how they come out. Look at all this stuff on them. Off from there. Whew, a lot of dust. What's wrong with that? One more. All right, so that was my first time really tumbling or drumming any quantity of fur to speak of. So let's check out the final product here, these Fishers. So I don't know how many we got here, but I would say they look pretty awesome. I mean, they're just really fluffed up. They're clean. You could tell the detergent and the drumming action really cleaned them up nicely. I don't see any matted fur. I don't see any greasy fur. There could be, you know, occasional little spot here and there that I could pick up on later. But man, for the most part, these look pretty awesome. So yeah, that's I don't know. Is this the only way? I mean, do you need to get a tumbler and you want to make your fur look like this? Is that the? I don't think that's the only way to go. I don't know if I would go ahead and build or buy a tumbler just for this. But the fact that I have one and I just used it, I mean, I'm really psyched. I'm happy about the end product, and I think, you know, in a low fur market, probably maybe it's not worth doing it, but there's I guess there's something to be said about the you know, the pride that goes into making a quality product. You know, I know that's a low fur market. This fur really isn't worth much of anything anyway, but just the fact that, you know, you've taken an animal, you've harvested an animal and trying to make the most value out of that pelt. I think there's just a little bit of pride there in trying to have the best looking pelt that I possibly can reasonably produce. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, I think based on how these Fishers turned out, I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of I'm gonna do the Marten and see how they look. I bet I can do a lot more Marten at a time, considering how small the guys are. I mean, the Marten are not really that bad looking. They're mostly pretty clean, but there's a few spots that could probably be improved. We already got the thing going. We might as well toss them in and shine them up. Look at this one. This is a beautiful pelt. I may have to get that one tanned. It's not the nice dark color that the market wants, but look at that awesome orange throat on it, and just a nice thick full prime fur. Beautiful. Beautiful. Probably, I don't know, that's half of them. A little more than half. Last batch of Marten. They smell nice. God, I wish we had a bigger Marten here in Maine. Look how that detergent and that action, that tumbling action, just kind of just fluffed that fur way up. Looking pretty nice. Marten are really light colored too. Small and light colored. But these were late caught Marten. We're pretty late in the season, so nice. Fur's nice and prime anyway. This one's a little darker. They vary a lot in colors. We don't usually get that nice chocolate brown, but we get a lot of gray and a lot of orangish color, brownish, sort of light brown. God, they look good. I hope they look this good when they get to the auction house and the grader's running these hands through them. Might be the one I had. Yeah, I had some matted hair and stuff. It brushes out nice though. I was gonna run this one back in, but I think just that brushing, it's already been so cleaned up that just that brushing did it. I mean, you can't even tell that matted spot was there. Good, good, good. A few more here. This one's got a little matted spot too. See if that comes off. Spot there, the first matted down. It's like pitch, I think. I thought that was going to brush right out, but it didn't. No, it's coming. Some cases like that, I might just leave that in. Yeah, I'll run that through again, see if maybe that gets a little bit more cleaning action on that. I don't know, it wasn't much extra, but you know what? It's just one little spot, and it's not going to be the end of the world if it isn't completely cleaned off. I might get a little bit of rubbing alcohol and just rub it in there and brush it a little more just to try to get that pitch out. But that's the only real one that I noticed out of these. So that's pretty good. So guys, let's take a look at the final product here. This is the Marten and Fisher for the 2022 season here in northern Maine. All gone through the fur tumbler. Nice and shined up and fluffed up. Yeah. What's wrong with that? They look pretty good, huh? I think so anyway. So yeah, that was my first real experience with a tumbler. I think it worked nicely. I don't know if I necessarily say you need to tumble your fur before you send it to the auction or the buyer, but I think we're gonna have pretty awesome, pretty nice product to send out for the fur buyers and fur graders to look at. And since I had the tumbler, it was worth the extra effort, I think. Shine up the fur and make it look nice. So yeah, it was good. It was good. So this stuff will go on to either auction or buyers, and hopefully make somebody a nice coat or a liner for a coat or hat or all. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But hopefully these products get well used. I mean, that wild fur is a pretty incredible product. It's renewable, sustainable, very durable, and incredibly warm. So that's the fur for the season, guys. Thank you for watching. And you know what? I'm starting to get an idea. I saw how nice these furs looked coming out of the tumbler, and I got a few beaver pelts in the floor of the fur shed here, and I'm wondering if maybe it's not a bad idea to try to run a beaver pelt through there. So I'm gonna get at it. See you guys.